What is architecture? Is any building architecture? In the next few minutes, I'll try to convey to you architecture in a nutshell. Let's get started. I divided the subject in three parts. Part 1 deals with the times of architecture. In other words, the history of architecture. In Part 2, you will get a general idea of what the fundamental principles of architecture are. Part 3 will illustrate the process of moving from dreams to creating a program, to design, and to build. Architectural concepts started to develop about 30,000 years ago in the caves. "10,000 years ago, with the beginning of the agricultural revolution, humans started to build permanent settlements that later became villages and cities. Since Stonehenge, about 3000 BC, the ages of architecture evolved. During the last 100 years, contemporary architecture went through many transformations. The classification of 13 principles is arbitrary, but it provides us a structure to look at architecture's complexity. Place. We start with the land, with nature in different geographies and climates. Frank Lloyd Wright wrote nature with a capital N, like God. Space is the essence of architecture. It is what distinguishes it from all the other arts. We spend our lives living 24/7 within architectural spaces. We can't perceive architecture without light. The use of light is a fundamental component of architecture. I call light an intangible building material. Time. I mention architecture history, which renders material our collective subconscious. It sustains the present, which deals with reality as is, and it feeds our dreams and vision for the invention of the future. With form, we define space, light, and volume. We build flat and curvilinear surfaces, We use ornamentation and texture, and we create forms based on geometry or totally informal. Character is what defines identity. Sometimes we call it style, and it defines a particular culture. Character can generate feelings like the ones we experience when we enter a Gothic cathedral. Human scale is the only scale of architecture. Scale is measurable. It should not be confused with size. Culture defines architecture in a particular language at a particular time. Sometimes we call it style. We can build with many different materials. Each has its own characteristics. The better we know what is the nature of the material, the more we can stretch to the maximum its potential. When we build, we first create a structure, like the skeleton that supports us. Its main components are strength, stability, and durability. In a building, continuity can be seen as a spatial flow or as material contiguity. Like in the human body, everything is connected to everything else. Unity defines the soul of a building when space, matter, and spirit become one. Emotional intelligence is the ability to identify and manage our own emotions and the emotions of others. To build, we must first dream, then program, then design, and then we build. How can we dream purposely and move from emotions to rationalization? How can we harvest ideas? We usually start with intuition, hopefully an educated one. The way we balance scope, cost, and quality will affect the outcome of the project. Design demands a long process of trial and error. We interact with many disciplines. We schedule construction and we build in a certain order. In the end, we celebrate the building, cut the ribbon, and begin to live in our own dream. Was this too complicated? Well, Rome wasn't built in one day. Have a good one.